I was scared of dentists and the dark.
How domestic violence personally affected his family, and how we both kind of feel that people like on Capitol Hill don't really know how to deal with it. They think the solution is taking the child out of the home, but really to tear an individual away from their family is really detrimental to their development. So we were talking about how maybe we should come up with more of a institutionalization where we put them in some type of training or program where we can help them overcome, because it's something mental that's going on if you abuse somebody. So instead of putting somebody in jail that's not really helping them with the problem, putting them in some type of program to help them make those connections in their brain where they can figure out right from wrong.
Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah, we actually had a full conversation about that, and he kind of swung it into what he talked about tonight. But just in general, he's a really nice guy, very down to earth. I felt absolutely comfortable with him. And I think he's able to portray the struggle of being a minority to people in a way that makes them comfortable. Like, I don't think this room would have been this packed if he wasn't just as down to earth as he was. So where normally you talk about diversity and multiculturalism, people are kind of iffy, like, but he does it in a way where everybody feels it's almost like an inclusive conversation. So I think it was great to have somebody of the Asian descent to come, because he talked about how strict it is growing up in a household and you're being from that background, and I think a lot of the Asian students were able to connect with that, and they were very excited, and I was even excited to hear about that because I don't know everything because I come from a different segment of being multicultural. So I think it was great. I think it connected for everybody. It was definitely an inclusive conversation. So cool.
Scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. All my friends are turning green. Yeah, the magician's assistant in their dream. Oh.
One time, this dude on the Alex Wagner show was like, "You appropriate black culture," and I immediately stopped him. He said, you appropriate black culture," and I said, "No, sir, I did not appropriate it. The thing is that when you live in America, race is very binary. You're either consuming white culture or you're consuming black culture. There, until we have Fresh Off the Boat and things like this, I mean, where else would you consume Asian culture, right? And cultural exchange is very, very important. I'm not out there opening, I'm not there, how do I explain it? I said it very well on that show. It's hard to do on the spot. But the point is like, I'm not aping. I'm very honest about what inspired me. I think it's very apparent that I am not black. I don't think it's wrong that I'm inspired by like the struggle and the music and the kind of cultural goings on in the 90s that I grew up with. And it'll always be a part of me. But I think it's also a shame to be like, only black people can like this and only white people can like that. I feel like as long as, I don't try to manipulate or direct black culture. I'm respectful of it and I'm inspired by it. And I've become a part of it. You're so emasculated that you start to feel like a woman, right? So I related very much to women's studies courses. But no, all jokes aside, man, I think whether it's women's studies, Asian studies, Latin American studies, if you're of a certain race or orientation or gender, I don't think you can do any better than go study the flip side. Because you know your perspective, you know who you are. But when you can put yourself in other people's shoes and start to see how your actions affect other people's consciousness, that's extremely powerful. Like, being able to understand how women feel in the workplace, how women feel when they're watching romance films or action films, or like Hitchcock Rear Window, and how like phallic the camera is and penetrating, it was insane to me. Like, when you read feminist literature, you realize that some women feel like there's just like flying phalluses at them all day long, whether it's like cameras, pencils, pens, like even the design of the world. Like, you could take classes, the design of the world, you can see it's very much mirroring like sexual machinery in human beings. So that shit blew my mind. I think people should definitely take women's studies classes. I hope that helped. You know, like, I meet a lot of white people who want to know more about my culture. They're very interested in it. They want to know about other people's culture. And it's also like, for white people, it's kind of stumped too, because, you know, I will rephrase this. This is what I will say. It's extremely important to have these courses that help people understand different cultures and diversity, because like that is what makes our country what it is. That's what makes our country strong. That's what makes our country interesting to other people. When I go to Russia or I go to China, they want to come to America because they're like, you got all types of things. I could be anything I want to be in America. I can see anything I want to see in America. And if you just like look around this room, this is more interesting in terms of diversity and faces and fashion and whatever than any room that I would go to in another country in this world. And that is really where we draw our power from.
I think it lets students know that they're not the only ones struggling. Sometimes if their role model or somebody they look up to is going through the same thing, it helps them like, okay, maybe I can seek help, or it's nothing wrong with me or my family specifically. This happens all around the world, so I think it definitely encourages them to reach out for help and to seek out those resources to kind of help them get past these things. And it's always good to know that somebody else is struggling with you. You never want to feel like you're alone. I think he helps connect people together through different aspects, through family struggles, through personal struggles, through success. He ties that all in together. So maybe just somebody hearing what he has to say will encourage them to seek out help and to utilize those resources that's out there.
And I think especially, I mean, you probably have Asian parents. Yes. No, it's rough with Asian parents, man, because it's about the money. You know, like, I can't wait till Asian parents start rapping. It will be fantastic if you want cash money. But no, it's you have to realize, man, your parents don't own you. You have to tell them, just because you had me, like, I don't serve you. Like, you give life to somebody. You gave that life to somebody. Now that life is yours. You have to do what you want to do with that life. Do you know what I mean? Like, your purpose here is not to live out your parents' dreams. They have their own life to live out those dreams. And like, listen, I fight with my mom still. My mom still will call me like, you should have been an attorney. Or she'll be like, I don't like what you did. And you know, even now I'm doing very well, and my mom gives me a hard time. And I had to, this week, because it was really getting to me, my mom was saying some nasty shit. And so I set up automatic text responses to my mom. And so I'm not even talking to my mom right now. I just hit a button and like send her a response. So when your parents are on your ass, like, you have to think for yourself, you know? But also remember, don't be a reaction just to be a reaction. Think about what it is that you really want to do and do it.
So being an Asian American, how did that affect you, like watching him up there?
Well, it helped me self-realization, because I've been stressing out because I got like 4 tests this week, and I've been contemplating like, what do I want to do here? Do I follow my parents, or do I just do what I want to do and make myself happy? And so as a result of that, asking that question, it helped me like, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do, this is my plan, and I'm going to go through with it.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
That would tell me, don't smoke weed on camera, don't talk about it, don't say anything offensive, and I fired them. It wasn't just because of weed, but I was like, I'm gonna be honest, like, this is what I'm doing with my life, and I don't think smoking weed makes me stupid or bad or whatever, nor do I think other people who smoke weed are stupid or bad or deviant people. And it's cultural. Some people like to go drink beer. I like to smoke weed. I don't think anything's wrong with it. I control it myself. I take breaks. I don't know what else to say. I love this game. But no, it's always, I mean, I've been smoking since I was 15, and I know a lot of very influential writers, artists, whatever. Some people may have even spoken at this school that smoke weed, you know? And I'm not out here trying to promote marijuana. I'm just trying to say intelligence comes in many forms. Success, excellence comes in many forms. And we have to let people be who they are. Yeah. Yeah.